Have you ever met someone who doesn't say much, but every time they do, you feel like listening? Or someone who remains calm in the midst of chaos, and that's exactly what makes them so appealing. This is the power of small habits that build attraction silently. In a world full of noise, many people think that to be attractive, they have to speak louder, be more visible, or constantly seek validation from others. But true attractiveness does not come from flashy things, but from attitudes that quietly build strong character. In Stoic philosophy, wisdom, serenity, and independence are the main elements that make a person attractive without having to try hard. Not because they want to be attractive, but because they have self-control, steadfastness, and serenity that are hard to find in a world full of distractions. In this video, we'll discuss Stoic habits that will make you more attractive without seeking attention. It's not about pretending, but about being the best version of yourself with poise, confidence, and strong principles. Part 1. Mastering yourself in the midst of chaos. One of the most interesting habits that Stoic philosophy teaches is the ability to remain calm and in control in difficult situations. In everyday life, we are surrounded by stressors, problems at work, social pressures, or even small things like traffic jams. Most people react impulsively, angry, frustrated, or even panicky. However, people who have control over themselves attract attention without trying. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your thoughts, not over external events. Realize this and you will find strength." That is, it is not external circumstances that determine your composure, but how you respond to them. People who are able to maintain their composure in difficult situations demonstrate emotional maturity and mental strength that is rare in others. Imagine two people facing a major problem at work. The first one immediately panics, complains, and blames the situation. The second one stays calm, analyzes the situation, and finds a solution without too much drama. Who is more attractive and more respected? Obviously, the one who stays calm and in control. The way to practice this habit is simple but requires consistency. Every time you feel your emotions starting to get the better of you, pause. Take a deep breath, ask yourself, is this under my control? If not, let it go. If so, strategize with a cool head. With practice, you will overreact less and act more with wisdom. People who are calm and self-controlled provide a sense of security to those around them. They don't need to shout to be heard, don't need to show excessive emotion to be noticed. It is precisely their calmness that makes people interested in approaching them. In a world full of noise and impulsive reactions, being someone who can control yourself is a rare charm. And just as a sailor is respected for his ability to weather a storm, you will be respected for your ability to stand firm in the midst of chaos. Part 2. Talk less, listen more. In an age where everyone wants to be heard, there is something incredibly attractive about someone who chooses to listen. People who understand the value of silence and choose their words wisely are often more respected than those who constantly talk without direction. Stoic philosophy teaches that wisdom is not just about what we say, but also about how we listen. Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This principle asserts that the most quietly interesting people are not those who talk the most, but those who understand the most. When someone is talking, most people just wait for their turn to respond rather than really listening. However, people who are quietly interesting are truly present in the conversation. They pay full attention, nod sincerely, ask thoughtful questions, and are not quick to interrupt or offer unsolicited opinions. When you truly listen, you give people space to feel valued. And ironically, the more you pay attention to people, the more they are drawn to you. This is because most people prefer someone who makes them feel heard over someone who just wants to be heard. The practice for this habit is simple. When you're talking to someone, resist the urge to respond right away. Listen carefully. Understand the emotion behind their words and respond in a way that shows you really care. You'll be surprised at how this changes the way people perceive you. In addition, speaking less also makes your words more valuable. If you speak only when necessary, every word you say will have weight and meaning. People will start to pay attention when you speak because they know that you are not talking carelessly. In a world full of noise, being someone who knows when to be quiet and when to speak is a rare art. And this art is what makes you interesting. Not because you seek attention, but because you give real attention. Part 3. Not seeking validation, but living the principles. One of the things that secretly makes someone attractive is their steadfastness in their principles. Attractive people don't try to please everyone, don't seek validation at every step, and don't waver just because they want to be accepted by their environment. They live based on the values they believe in, not based on other people's expectations. Seneca once said, "If you want to be respected, stop seeking respect." In Stoic philosophy, true respect comes not from seeking recognition, but from living a meaningful life. People who are too busy chasing validation often lose sight of themselves. In contrast, those who focus on their principles and actions naturally attract attention and respect. Think about someone you really respect. Are they constantly seeking attention? Are they always seeking approval from others before they act? Most likely not. They are interesting not because they are trying to be interesting, but because they stand firm in what they believe in, even when it is unpopular. Not seeking validation doesn't mean being stubborn or rejecting criticism. Instead, it means having the courage to listen to others' opinions while still standing by your principles. It means being able to say no without feeling guilty, taking the hard path when it aligns with your values, and not letting other people's opinions dictate your self-worth. The way to practice this habit is to ask yourself before making a decision, am I doing this because I really want to, or because I want to be accepted by others? If the answer leans more toward seeking validation, then it's time to re-examine your motivations. People who don't seek validation exude an aura of calm confidence. They're not in a rush to prove themselves, they're not busy pleasing everyone, and they're not afraid to be different. And because of that, they become the center of attention without trying. In a world full of people hungry for approval, being comfortable in your own skin is a rare charm. Your uniqueness lies in the courage to be yourself, not in trying to be what others expect. Part 4. Mastering emotions, not being mastered by emotions. One of the most attractive traits of someone who quietly exudes charm is their ability to control their emotions. In a world full of impulsive reactions, people who can remain calm and collected in difficult situations are like oases in the desert. They are not easily provoked, not easily offended, and do not let their emotions control their actions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The strongest person is the one who has complete control over himself." Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of managing emotions, not suppressing them, but also not letting them dominate our thoughts and actions. People who are controlled by their emotions tend to act without thinking, often regret their decisions, and lose the trust of those around them. In contrast, those who can manage their emotions will always appear calmer, more confident, and more reliable. Have you ever met someone who remains calm even when under great pressure? They do not overreact, do not let anger control them, and are able to face the situation with a cool head. People like this provide a sense of comfort and security for others. Meanwhile, those who are easily angered or panicked often lose respect from those around them. Practicing this habit requires mindfulness of your emotions. Every time you feel angry, anxious, or frustrated, pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is this worth my emotional reaction? Is this going to matter 5 years from now? By getting into the habit of thinking before you react, you will slowly build stronger self-control. People who are able to control their emotions do not mean they do not have emotions. In fact, they understand their emotions very well, but do not let them control their actions. They know when to speak and when to be silent, when to act and when to wait. In a world full of people who act impulsively, the ability to remain calm and in control is a rare attribute. People who are not easily swayed by their emotions will always appear stronger, wiser, and more attractive to others. Part 5. Keeping promises and being consistent with your words. One of the habits that makes a person secretly attractive is their reliability. In a world full of empty promises and sweet words without action, people who always keep their promises and live up to their words are very rare and valuable. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of integrity. Epictetus once said, "Do not explain your philosophy, live it." This means that it is not our words that show who we are, but the real actions we take. People who always keep their promises show that they have principles, discipline, and respect for themselves and others. Have you ever met someone who always says, "I'll get back to you later," but never does? Or someone who promises to change but keeps making the same mistakes? This kind of attitude makes someone lose credibility and trust. In contrast, people who always do what they say they will do quietly exude a powerful magnetism. They don't need to prove themselves with words because their actions speak volumes. The way to practice this habit is simple, but requires high discipline. If you promise to do something, do it. If you are not sure you can fulfill your promise, it is better not to promise in the first place. Get used to thinking before you speak, and only saying things that you can actually do. Consistency also applies to life principles. If you have certain values, maintain them in every aspect of your life. Don't be someone who changes easily just because of social pressure or for momentary personal gain. People who are consistent with their values are more respected than those who just follow the flow without a stance. Reliable people create a sense of security for those around them. They don't have to convince anyone that they are a good or trustworthy person. People will know it by their actions. And without them realizing it, this quality makes them quietly attractive. In a world full of uncertainty, being someone who is trustworthy and consistent is a rare asset. People who are dependable will always be respected, appreciated, and without them realizing it, become a magnet for people who are looking for sincerity and honesty in relationships and life. Part 6. Comfortable in being alone and not afraid of being lonely. One of the habits that makes someone effortlessly attractive is their comfort in solitude. In a world full of distractions and social dependencies, people who are able to enjoy their alone time have a different aura. They are not afraid of loneliness, do not rely on external validation, and have a depth of mind that makes them more attractive. Stoic philosophy teaches that true peace comes from within, not from external factors. Seneca once said, "He who finds happiness within himself needs nothing from without." This does not mean rejecting social relationships, but rather having a healthy relationship with oneself. People who are comfortable in solitude will not easily feel empty just because there are no people around them. Have you ever met someone who seems unafraid to go places alone, enjoys alone time, and still feels fulfilled even without other people around? They have an emotional independence that is rare for many people. On the other hand, people who always need attention and company often come across as weak and unattractive because they show excessive dependency. One way to practice this habit is to start spending time alone without distractions. Turn off your phone for a few hours. Go for a walk without music or podcasts, or just sit in silence and reflect. See how you can enjoy time with yourself without feeling anxious. If it feels uncomfortable at first, it's a sign that you need to get to know yourself better. Also, use solitude as a time for reflection and personal growth. People who are comfortable in solitude often have deeper thoughts, are more thoughtful in their decision-making, and are less susceptible to social pressures. They are not afraid to be different, are not afraid to lose people who do not align with their values, and do not feel the need to always be involved in conversations or social situations to feel worthwhile. In a world full of social dependency and the need for validation, people who are able to stand on their own are powerfully attractive. They do not seek attention, but instead draw attention because of their inner calm and confidence. They are comfortable with themselves, and that is what makes them so attractive without having to try. Part 7. Focus on the process, not the recognition. In a world filled with image and the desire for recognition, there is something incredibly attractive about someone who works hard without feeling the need to prove themselves to anyone. They don't seek applause, they don't crave validation, and they don't need to show off their accomplishments. They are focused solely on their own journey, and ironically, that's what makes them so appealing. Stoic philosophy teaches that true satisfaction comes from effort, not results. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Don't waste your time thinking about how others will see you. Be better and let your actions speak for themselves." This means that secretly attractive people are those who don't bother thinking about how they appear to others. They simply do what needs to be done with all their heart. Have you ever met someone who is truly dedicated to their work, their hobby, or their growth without the need to announce their every move? They seem to have their own world working in silence, but the results are always visible. They are more focused on personal growth than praise, more interested in improving their skills than social recognition. On the other hand, people who are always seeking validation and recognition often lose their appeal. They are too busy showing off their successes on social media, talking about how hard they work, or comparing themselves to others. This shows insecurity, not confidence. To practice this habit, start by changing the way you view hard work. Don't work for the praise. Work because you enjoy the process. Don't learn something to show off. Learn because you want to improve. Don't feel the need to tell the world about your every little accomplishment. Let the results speak for themselves. People who focus on the process have a different energy. They don't obsess over what others think, don't compare themselves, and aren't distracted by social expectations. They simply move forward calmly with discipline and with a clear purpose. And without them realizing it, people around them start to notice, not because they are trying to look good, but because of their sincerity, dedication, and serenity in living a meaningful life. Conclusion. In a world full of noise, the Stoic habit teaches that true attractiveness comes not from trying too hard to stand out, but from carrying ourselves with poise, wisdom, and integrity. Quietly attractive people are those who are in control of themselves, not those who are busy seeking external validation. The 7 habits we've discussed: mastering yourself in chaos, listening more than you talk, not seeking validation, controlling your emotions, keeping your promises, being comfortable with being alone, and focusing on the process, are simple principles, but they have a big impact. They build strong character, make you more respected, and naturally attract quality people into your life. Stoic philosophy teaches that true excellence does not need to be advertised. It is seen through everyday actions. Truly attractive people are not those who try hard to look attractive, but those who live by principle and poise. They do not seek attention, but attention comes to them. So if you want to be someone who is secretly attractive, focus on yourself. Build a strong character, control your thoughts and emotions, and live your life with strong values. In the end, it is not how others see you that matters, but how you see and respect yourself.